Everyone thinks a budget motorcycle intercom is a noisy toy you outgrow in a month, but here's the thing, the Fodsports FX8 Air is the first sub-premium unit I've tested that actually held up next to the big brands because range, clarity, and battery didn't fold when the speed picked up. I put it through 3 weeks of commuting and weekend rides across about 600 miles, swapped it between a full face and a modular helmet, and rode solo, 2-up, and in a 4-bike group. I went in expecting compromises. What I found forced me to rethink what you really pay for with the name brand tax. And yes, there were surprises, good and bad. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. If you're already leaning yes and want the current best price on the Fodsports FX8 Air, I dropped a link below. But hold up, because a couple of my test results might change how you pick between single and dual packs. I bought the FX8 Air because my old mid-tier intercom kept crackling at highway speeds and died halfway through group rides. I needed something simple, clear voice at 70 mph, reliable range for staggered 4-rider formation, and a battery that didn't make me babysit percentages at lunch. I've tried the usual suspects, a Lexan unit that was decent around town but fell apart in wind, an older Sena that sounded great but cost me an arm, and a Cardo that my buddies use that's excellent but pushes the budget. I was skeptical about Fodsports because the price looked too good and the specs read like marketing copy. Bluetooth 5x up to 2,000 meters in ideal conditions, H-Rider pairing, CVC noise reduction, 4-dm speakers, IP-rated weather resistance, USB-C, and long battery life. Sounded perfect on paper. The question was, would it stay stable at speed and with wind? First test, urban commute, 45 minutes each way, lots of stoplights, GPS prompts, and phone calls. Pairing was quick and multi-point let me run Spotify plus Google Maps without drops. At city speeds under 40 mph, music was clean at 60–70% volume and phone calls were surprisingly clear. My caller said I sounded like I was in a car with the windows barely open. That was promising. But then I hit a windy afternoon. Above 55 mph with the modular helmet slightly cracked, the mic started to pick up a bit of whoosh unless I positioned the foam exactly in front of my lips. Solution, switch to the boom mic in the modular, wired mic in the full face. That fixed it. Range test, 4 riders, 2 with FX8 Air, 1 with a Cardo Freecom, 1 with a Sena 5 Series. We rode a mix of suburban sweepers and a straight farm road. In line of sight, we stayed connected cleanly up to about 901,000 meters before artifacts crept in. Not the full 2 km claim, but realistic and usable. Around curves with trees, we held steady to about 500–700 meters. Here's where it gets interesting. Reconnection was quick. Dropouts came back within a couple seconds without us fiddling with buttons. Highway test, 70–80 mph, crosswind, full-face helmet, 90-minute stint. The 4-dm speakers are tuned a bit V-shaped. Punchy low-end, boosted highs. For podcasts, voices remained intelligible at 80% volume. Music needed 85–90% at 75+ mph, and yes, you'll feel the limit if you love bass-heavy tracks. Compared to Cardo's JBL speakers, the FX8 Air has less warmth but still hits better than older budget units. Mic noise cancellation did its job. My buddy said I sounded slightly compressed but clear enough to plan the next gas stop without repeating myself. Controls and gloves, big tactile jog dial, clicky buttons you can find blind with winter gloves. I could pause music, raise volume, and trigger voice assistant without looking. There's no flashy app dependency here. Pairing and group setup is old school but straightforward after you learn the sequence. But then I tried mixing brands in a larger group, and like most intercoms, the experience gets messy. Stick to the same brand for easiest group setup. Battery life, manufacturer claims all day, and in my testing, that held. I ran 7 hours 42 minutes of mixed intercom and music before getting the low battery tone. On 2 separate days, it made it from breakfast pre-ride to late afternoon without a recharge. USB-C quick top-up during a coffee stop added about 2 more hours. That's real-world reliable. Weather, got caught in a 25-minute fall shower. No issues. Buttons stayed responsive, no water in the ports, and audio didn't flicker. I wouldn't pressure wash it, but for normal rain, it's solid. Weaknesses, 2 stand out. 1. While it connects up to 8 riders, the smoothest experience was with 4 or fewer. Past that, handoffs and order management get finicky unless everyone knows the pairing dance. 2. If you ride an especially loud helmet or naked bike with no windscreen, you'll want aftermarket thicker speaker pads or earplugs with filters to keep volume in the sweet spot. The most surprising discovery: value consistency. After 3 weeks, I expected the honeymoon effect to fade. Instead, the FX8 Air kept doing the basics right: fast reconnection, no random reboots, and a battery that outlasted my attention span. I invested hours swapping helmets, moving speakers millimeter by millimeter to hit that ear canal sweet spot, and comparing back-to-back with a Cardo unit on the same route. The Cardo still wins on audio richness and app polish, and Sena edges it on mic naturalness. But considering the FX8 Air often comes in under $100 for a single and well under $200 for a dual pack on sale, the performance delta felt smaller than the price gap. Is it too good to be true? Not if you accept its ceiling. It won't give you premium app features or cinematic JBL bass. It gives you dependable comms, strong battery, usable range, and weather resilience without the brand premium. Now that you know the FX8 Air's real strengths: range that's honest, battery that's legit, and clarity that holds its speed, you'll want to grab it before the next price hike or stock dip. I've got the best current deal linked below, plus my recommended speaker pad kit for louder helmets. Bottom line, the Fodsports FX8 Air isn't a hype toy, it's a workhorse. If you ride with 2 to 4 friends, want clear intercom up to about half a mile in mixed terrain, need day-long battery, and don't care about fancy apps, this is easy to recommend. Touring riders who demand top-tier audio fidelity or big mixed brand groups should still consider Cardo or Sena. New riders, commuters, budget-conscious weekend warriors, this hits the sweet spot. Here's what nobody tells you: you don't need to spend triple to get 90% of the experience. The FX8 Air proves it.